occurs at the unpaired electrons of iron in the heme portion. Now, since each hemoglobin molecule has 4 heme molecules, one hemoglobin molecule can combine with 4 molecules of oxygen. The ease with which hemoglobin unites with oxygen and with which the oxyhemoglobin gives up its oxygen again is of utmost importance in the carriage of oxygen by the blood. The combination of oxygen with hemoglobin takes place readily at high oxygen pressure, for example in the lungs, while the dissociation takes place readily at low oxygen pressures, for example in the tissues. This provides an effective system for the transport of oxygen from the atmosphere to the cells of the body, where which means oxygen is used in various metabolic reactions. Now next is combination with carbon monoxide. Hemoglobin combines with carbon monoxide more readily than with oxygen to form carboxyhemoglobin, that is HbCO. The affinity of hemoglobin for carbon monoxide is about 250 times greater than the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. The reaction is Hb plus CO, the sign of reversibility, it gives HbCO. Moreover, carboxyhemoglobin is more stable than the oxyhemoglobin. On account of these two factors, carbon monoxide displaces oxygen in the blood, with the result the tissues do not receive oxygen for their metabolic reactions and the patients may die of anoxia. Thus, the breathing of carbon monoxide from coal gas is considered as dangerous. The carbon monoxide may be displaced by the oxygen from the hemoglobin by getting the patient to breathe oxygen and carbon dioxide to stimulate respiration. Now, since the rate at which oxygen displaces carbon monoxide is proportional to the pressure of oxygen, the patient must be put into a high pressure oxygen chamber. The competition of these two gases for hemoglobin may be regarded as an example of biological antagonism. Up to 5% of the hemoglobin in the blood of heavy tobacco smokers may be in the form of carboxyhemoglobin. Chlorophyll. This is the green coloring material present in plants. Its main role is in photosynthesis. It has magnesium in its structure. Unlike hemoglobin, it is not a protein. The next process, respiration. The process of respiration involves the uptake of atmospheric oxygen by lungs, its transport to tissue by blood, and uptake of carbon dioxide from the tissues by blood, its transport to lungs, and lastly its expulsion from lungs into the atmospheric pressure. Again, its transport to lungs, and lastly its expulsion from lungs into the atmospheric air. The next process, the next system is the immune system. Certain foreign substances like virus or bacteria known as antigens, when find way to our system, they pose health problems. However, a normal body is capable of counteracting their bad effects by synthesizing a type of proteins known as antibodies. The principal antibodies are immunoglobulins, a class of globulin type of proteins. This protective mechanism by virtue of which a body resists the invasion of foreign microorganisms is known as immunity. Newborn babies do not have any mechanism to produce antibodies, and they get the antibodies from mother's milk. Now next is allergy. Allergy is a phenomena in which the antibodies produced by certain substances combines with antigens and force the mast cells to produce cytoplasmic granules such as histamines, serotonin, which induces symptoms like itching, swelling, rashes, redness, etc. in the body.